live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 6.
I must have talked to 4 people today who were calling in because of heroin addiction and wanting to get help.
It's an increasing problem in mid-Michigan. Law enforcement, addiction counselors say they're seeing more and more cases of heroin addiction in our area.
The increase means that your neighborhood and your children are affected. WNEM TV5's Liz Gilardi begins our team coverage of the problem.
Addiction's difficult to treat, period.
Grainy images show a drug that's a growing problem in Midland County, heroin, a drug that's leading to overdose and even death.
We're seeing that increase here in this community as a result. Death is part of the reality of addiction.
Holly Carter works with addicts. She's with the 1016 Recovery Network. Over the past few years, Carter has noticed a change in the patients she treats. Most used to be alcoholics. Now she says about 50% are treated for drugs, with a dramatic increase in heroin. Highly addictive, highly dangerous.
The timing that it takes to reach full-blown dependence is much shorter. That gap or that time that it takes to go from experimental use to dependence is a much shorter window.
But the drug use doesn't always start with heroin.
Vicodin and Oxycontin, people are having difficulty getting it because it's expensive, and when they do get it, it costs more money. Heroin is cheaper and easier to get than either one of those drugs.
The sheriff estimates at least 15 overdose-related deaths in the past year, one within the last few weeks.
It's frightening. I mean, that just is an indicator of what's out there.
Another troubling statistic, rehab centers say they notice users are getting younger with money in their late teens or early 20s. Reporting live and local in the Continuous News Center, Liz Gilardi, WNEM TV5.
Midland is not the only local county seeing a resurgence of heroin use. TV5's Brian Wood continues our team coverage now with a look at how heroin's making a comeback in Saginaw County as well.
And I overdosed a few times. And today I can look back and just say, but for the grace of God, I didn't die.
Linda Gilliland talking about her 20 years of heroin use, 20 years that almost cost her her life.
Today I can look back on it and say it was pure hell. When I was living it, I didn't know.
She's now been clean for 26 years, and today she's a therapist with the Saginaw Township Dog Caring Center, helping other addicts take that first step towards recovery.
It's okay to make that phone call. It takes a lot of guts and courage, but it's okay to make that phone call.
But Gilliland and law enforcement officials say that heroin is making its way back as a drug of choice. Once considered an urban drug in the 70s and the 80s, it's now finding a new home in suburbia with a much younger crowd.
Our vice detectives are seeing it, quite a bit more frequently.
Saginaw police say that they've seen an increase in overdoses and heroin use in the city and the county in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're hoping it doesn't become as popular as it was during the heroin wars of the 70s with this new younger crowd.
A younger generation where 20-year-olds are using heavy prescription drugs, and when that runs out, they seek alternative means to get that high.
And Gilliland says to help curb the drug's popularity, it's important to get the word out that help is there for anyone who wants to make that first step.
And we try to make it as comfortable for them on this end of the phone as it is uncomfortable for them on their end of the phone.
In Saginaw, Brian Wood, WNEM TV5.
Now, if you happen to be looking for help with heroin addiction, either for yourself or somebody you care about, we've got a link to Recovery Network resources. That's on our website. Just go to WNEM.com and click on the Hot Links section.
A live look tonight over Bay City, where the rain is gone, but it left behind some pretty dreary weather. Chief Meteorologist Darren Bradley has a look at what we can expect. Hi, Darren.
A few more showers still on the way, Katie. A live look at our pinpoint Doppler network. Rain across the UP. A good chunk of the lower peninsula still seeing a few of those showers and some thunder as well. Look at near Muskegon. A few of these are flashing icons indicating a little heavier rain out there, but we are going to see our pinpoint Doppler radar at MBS showing dry in Bay City. That is not going to be lasting. Another little round of showers building in back to the west, so we are not quite done with the rain. Just a little bit of a break out there for some of you. Totals impressive northward, close to an inch of rain, 91 hundredths close to an inch there. Houghton Lake 36 hundredths in Harbor Beach, close to 2/10 in Saginaw, just over that in Mount Pleasant. So the further north you go, the more impressive those numbers out there. Temperature-wise, 41 Houghton Lake, much warmer southward, but still below normal. Typically highs around 56 degrees, so underachieving a bit. Again, more showers will be on tap still for this evening, and a slight chance again tomorrow. Day part forecast, we'll have temperatures down to about 44 early tomorrow morning. By lunchtime, 48 with breezy conditions. We'll time things out that futurecast and talk more about that full 7-day. It looks a little bit cool. We'll do that coming up.
Darren, thanks. A family out of its home tonight after a fire at Granger and Mackinac in Saginaw. The house was empty at the time. Firefighters did have to break out a few windows to put out the flames. The worst of the damage, however, in the basement. Investigators say it may have started in a dryer.
And it looks like the construction deadline for the project on Court Street in Saginaw is getting pushed back again. The road resurfacing and new curbs and medians were supposed to be done by September 30th. Then the project was supposed to be pushed back to today. Well, now public service officials say the construction continued into the end of next week, and it will continue. The contractor says that last week's rain slowed their progress.
A morning shooting leaves one man in the hospital. It happened at the corner of Holland and North 25th near the Buena Vista Township border with the city of Saginaw. The 31-year-old victim hit in the leg, expected to be okay. Right now, police are releasing no additional details about the shooting. And this morning's incident is just the most recent in a 5-day spree of violence in the city of Saginaw. There were 2 shootings in the area of Mason and Throop overnight on Friday. A 13-year-old was shot in the stomach on Sunday. Then there were 2 more shootings yesterday in the 3300 block of Harold and the 1400 block of Greenwich in Saginaw. 2 men are behind bars tonight after allegedly stabbing another man early Sunday morning in Isabella County. The 20-year-old victim, Nicholas Korniak, says he was driving on East Deerfield Road when another driver flashed their bright lights at him. The 2 cars pulled over, got into a fight. He was taken to the hospital. Sheriff's deputies later found the vehicle and arrested the suspects. Oh, terrible story to tell you about tonight. 2 13-year-old boys from Mount Pleasant are dead after an off-road vehicle accident. It happened in Mecosta County, about 50 miles outside of Grand Rapids. Sheriff's deputies found the boys unresponsive after their ATV rolled on top of them. Officials say the vehicle's roll bars had been removed, which made it easier for them to get trapped underneath. Those boys were pronounced dead at the scene. Saginaw's Arson Watch group is hoping to keep firebugs off the street as we get closer to Halloween. This comes a day after investigators decided that one of the fires last night, one of 2, may have been deliberately set. A small army of volunteers will patrol city streets Sunday night, watching for warning signs of arson. They say previous demolition and board-up events have also increased their odds.
They've taken down a lot of abandoned buildings, and we don't have as many vacant houses as we had before, so we're hoping the trend doesn't continue. In the last 2 years, the city has raised 99 abandoned homes. It is a subdivision that's months in the making and still isn't finished. Tonight we've learned the Smith Village project may be facing a new obstacle. The city of Flint won't pay for water lines to the homes in that area, leaving the neighborhood high and dry. WNEM TV5's Tia Ewing explains.
Looking at Smith Village, it appears that everything is moving along. A few homes are in place. The project is slated to meet the December 31st deadline of 25 homes. But just as the project is about to cross the finish line, yet another roadblock. A shortage in federal dollars means there isn't enough money to pay for sewer and water hookups to the homes.
The administration says that some portion of this has to be paid with water and sewer funds, and we're trying to find a way.
The developers were hoping to get some help from the city, asking the city council to pull nearly $770,000 from the cash-strapped water and sewer funds, but the council rejected it. Councilman Sheldon Neely says granting the request would have depleted the fund. If the project goes forward, they must find another answer.
Any village at all, or community or residential area, has to have plumbing.
So here we are at the mayor's office in the city of Flint, where Mr. Gregory Eason, the city administrator, came out of that door and told us that he will not give us a comment on the Flint City Council voting down giving money to the Smith Village project. But Mayor Walling later gave us this statement saying Smith Village is a major development and that he plans to work with city council to finish the project. Councilman Neely says he's still optimistic that both sides will come up with a plan to get the project done.
We're going to make sure we work very hard to make sure the timeline is not interrupted with this project, but we do have to make sure that we do find additional funding streams.
But until that happens, these homes that are almost ready for families to move in will continue to sit here empty. In Flint, Tia Ewing, WNEM TV5.
City Council says they'll meet to decide what can be done to make sure Smith Village is completed.
Saginaw is hoping an open house at City Hall will send a message to voters. City Manager Darnell Early has said in the past that the building needs renovations. Now you are invited in to get a look at the work that needs to be done.
We've been for months now showing the condition and the needs of what the City Hall needs in order to move forward with providing government services. So we're inviting everyone out on an open house.
And the building will be open 1 week from today.
WNEM TV5 News still ahead.
Bad news for basketball fans. Find out how much longer you'll have to wait to catch a Pistons game.
The Bridge Card Millionaire makes his return to TV. We'll tell you where you can catch Leroy Fick and his lottery millions.
Mid-Michigan students were bright and cheery this morning for the annual safety walk to school. We're going to tag along next.
This is TV5 News at 6, serving Akron, Merrill, Gladwin, and your hometown too.
It is coverage you can count on. We'll be right back.
You're watching Mid-Michigan's #1 6 o'clock news, WNEM TV5 News. Coverage you can count on.